Hello, Feisties. Okay, I have some questions for you. Are you feeling overwhelmed or just like me, tired by all the conflicting health and training advice on the interwebs? Are you sick of sifting through all the information and wondering who you can actually trust? More importantly, are you fueling, training, and living in a way that really supports your body? In the 10 years since I've transitioned from pro athlete to everyday exerciser, I've been frustrated by both the lack of research and information and by the reams of conflicting advice, even from well-meaning people on the internet. That's why we started building online courses here at Feisty, so we could get advice from dozens of experts in our community, all in one place. Basically, we created the resources I wish I had. We now have a full lineup of on-demand, expert-led courses made specifically for active women, from nutrition and strength training to menopause, hormone therapy, and brain health. We focus on what actually matters. Because now, more than ever, women deserve access to information that's science-backed, trustworthy, and actionable. Starting on June 9th, all our courses will be available on a brand new, user-friendly platform at a new, affordable price. Learn anytime, anywhere, and get real answers from vetted experts who get it. So make sure you're on our email list or following our social channels to get all the information. You can find a link to join the newsletter in the show notes. Be feisty, be informed, be unstoppable. Regular listeners of Feisty Podcasts will not be surprised to learn that for decades, running shoes have been researched, tested, and designed for men. Brands have relied on the shrink it and pink it approach to sell male shoes to female customers. But women's feet differ from men's in numerous ways. We have increased toe splay, higher arches, a more narrow heel, a lower ankle bone, upward angled toenails, and a rounded instep that is smaller in circumference. And because of all those differences, that is why we need HEDAs. HEDAs has unlocked the science behind women's biomechanics through dedicated research and creates running shoes specifically designed for women. So that means a lower heel collar to reduce rubbing on women's ankle bones, plate design to provide heel stability and to decelerate foot impact, rounded instep creating a snug fit through the middle to match the curvature of a woman's foot. Every feature is designed to give you more power and less problems. Breathability that lets your feet breathe easily mile after mile, plus fast-drying tech that doesn't allow sweat to slow you down, adaptive stretch that molds to your foot like it was made just for you. I personally have been running in HEDAs for over 2 years, and from the first time I tried them, I knew that there was something different. They really felt like they were made for me. The shoes are super light but provide good cushioning, and they really support my very high arches. I honestly didn't think I would notice the difference after running for so many years in male model shoes, but I really did. So try HEDAs for yourself today. Go to hedas.com and use the code STAYFEISTY for 20% off. That is Stay Feisty for 20% off at hedas.com. The link will, as always, be in the show notes.
All right, Feisties, it's Kelly, Joanne, and this week we have a special guest. We have Ruth Astle joining us. How are you, Ruth?
I'm good, thank you. Well, sort of good. Better now because I've had a couple of glasses of wine.
Excellent.
I thought you were going to say better because you've seen us.
And that, yes, I should have led with that. I saw Joanne on her birthday and it instantly made me better.
Oh, it is Joanne's birthday. I feel like we should note that. Happy birthday, Joanne. Should I ask you which birthday it is now?
I'm not quite 50 yet, but I'm older than 45. Kind of in the middle. 47, I think. Yeah.
You think?
1978 baby. I don't know. The year is just flying past. I'm a 1978 baby. That's all I know. So I think it's 47. If, as I always say on the microphone, if I was any good at maths, I would have a proper job.
That's probably true. Like Ruth used to have a proper job.
Proper job.
I used to have a proper job.
She's very
gone
good at
downhill
maths
since then.
Oh, well, happy birthday. You're spending your birthday with us, and then you're going to go get champagne. So.
Yes, well, it was like one of these perfect days where I turned up to Coffee Club at 7 o'clock and they had a big banner saying happy birthday, Jojo, and they had cake. So I had coffee, cake. I went cycling, had more cake. I'm now chatting with you ladies. I've been chatting to loads of people all day, and all I'm missing is the champagne. So time for more cake and champagne after today's podcast episode. And sure, isn't that a perfect day?
Perfect. Excellent. So we told Ruth that we were going to ask her, when we started, we asked her what does she think has been the best race so far this year, like as a spectator. What's your pick?
I think my pick is Hamburg.
Oh, everyone picks Hamburg. Yeah.
Well, I mean, what other race have we had two of the absolute best of the moment hammering each other all race? Because also, I think the dynamics of them being together for like basically the whole race. I don't think, and like that might be a race that I've missed, but I don't think we've had that in any other races. So for me, that makes it the best of like, I think we've had some other like amazing performances, but it's usually someone who's miles off the front or who's come from miles behind and ran their way in. So I think the fact that we saw the two of them, like Kat and Laura, just so close, pushing each other on all day and getting so close to going sub 8. Yeah, I don't think you can beat it.
Do you think, are those your, I'm going to go and ask you, are those like, we have to keep our eye on them for Kona? Now, we were just talking about this, Joanne, before we got on. It's easy to just keep adding to your list of people that are your picks for Kona.
Kona's really tough because the dynamics of it are so different. Like, I think the swim's way more important, and especially now there's actually going to be quite a big front group with Lucy, probably.
Right.
I think changes the dynamic and makes it much harder for Kat and Laura. It's like, I still definitely think they are two of the people to watch, but I think, you know, having Lucy up there with someone like Julie Deron with, I mean, there's going to be others that like Taylor, I don't know, because she would have done quite a lot of racing by then, so hard to know. And I don't think we've seen Taylor run like she probably will be able to in a few years. No, I'm saying that, she's going to go and smash it. But and then you've got someone like Solveig, probably also with Kat and Laura. Yeah, like it's going to be tough. But I just think in Kona, even having a front group with Lucy of like 3 helps her massively. And we all know that Lucy is one of the best at showing up on the day that matters. So,
of course, we all said that last Kona, and then Lucy just like won from start to finish and never had anyone with it. We were all like, oh, there'll be people with her out of the swim, and then it was just like, no.
I wonder, have you just mentioned our top 5 for Kona though?
No, at least one of them will have a terrible day. But, you know, like always,
no, it's true.
Always
it's true.
One of the favourites.
I know.
As bad as it is, I would love all of them to have that great day and all have a super close race. But like, someone will be injured, someone will blow up on the day. Yeah,
someone will secretly also be overtrained and injured and like not say anything until you're like, what happened? Yeah,
they could be very unlucky as well, like with like Annie Haug last year getting that puncture.
Yeah.
It sounds like, I was going to say, some people, I like how Ruth's just drinking her wine as she's talking right now.
Drinking tea out of my Hawaii mug. I promise it's tea.
I was about to say, though, some people, when they're injured, don't watch any triathlon. It sounds, Ruth, like you are still watching lots and lots of triathlon.
Yeah, I mean, I've got nothing else to do with my days. No, I still, like, I think... I'm like, it's because it's my friends that are racing, so I still want to track it. I want to see how they're doing, and yeah, like there are some races that I've not really followed that I would usually follow. Like, I have to say, I've been not that engaged with some of the other series this year, but yeah, the races that my friends are racing, I will always follow. So
okay, all right, so. I'm assuming then you guys saw some of Placid this past weekend. Is Solveig Lofseth? How do we say this, Joanne? Solveig Lofseth. Is she now one of our favorites? Has she like catapulted herself into, because that was only her second Ironman. She ran a 2:46 in Placid, which is hilly in the rain. She set a course record there, and that is not like a soft course record. Sarah True had it before. So, Is she now one of our? Do we? Are we? Is she now a favorite?
I think she needs to go up into that top list of definitely a top 10, if not a top 5. I mean, look at Taylor. She did her very first Ironman in, where was that? Was her first Ironman was in Kona? Sure it wasn't? Or
Kona.
was it?
Yeah, it was. It was
Kona,
in
yeah,
Kona.
it was
Yeah,
Kona.
yeah,
And she
yeah.
finished fourth, I think, back in 2023.
Yeah.
And we absolutely did not know where she was going to end up. But she, absolutely blasted through the field in Kona. I think Solveig, from what I saw of the highlights, and I didn't see much of the commentary or much of the race, but I did see some of the highlights. She just looked like she really paced it and was very patient. And her moves were very decisive as well. When she did make a move, she was very decisive with them. So it was quite interesting. I think for me, she definitely has a lot of potential. She might cause a few upsets.
Yeah, I actually I thought she was going to do better, which I know sounds ridiculous, but like when she won, but as in like based off her Hamburg performance, which
Oh, sure.
that was so impressive. I thought she would bike better. And maybe, and like this comes back to the, maybe she actually just paced it really well.
Sure.
Because like I said, that run in Placid is pretty insane. But yeah, I thought she would make more time on that bike and sort of not have to run as fast as such. And I kind of think with a lot of the other, I think if she wants to top 5, I think she's going to have to ride harder than that in Kona.
I will say it was raining super hard, and I did Placid one year when you got one of those
Yeah.
like crazy Adirondack. What? How do you say that word?
I don't even know what the
Rainstorms,
word
and you
is.
get it's the Adirondacks. It's like where it's from. And anyway, you get these crazy rainstorms in these valleys, and it's like, and you get really, really cold. And I like it, and I think some of the other athletes had said this to them too. Like, you get so cold that you're like forget to eat, and then you get messed up, and then you're kind of like, what's happening? So I would imagine that impacted the race, but I don't know for sure.
Yeah, I mean, like, yeah, I definitely think based off all of the races she's done this year, she is for sure one of the contenders and will be up there. Um, yeah, but it's exciting. I think the fact that there are now so many women running so fast, like actually for Kona in particular, because I feel like Kona generally comes down to the run, like
Sure.
obviously but like if you can run really, really, really well in the heat, you're generally going to have a fairly good Kona. And now I think we've got so many people. I think it could really lend to actually way more people blowing up because I think there'll be so many
Sure.
people trying to run so fast and trying to battle it out. So yeah, I think it just makes it super exciting.
So that's a very valid point because in Lake Placid it was wet. In Hamburg it was wet. It was probably a little bit colder. Then it'll obviously be in Kona with the humidity and everything as well. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how Solveig does in Kona. And just speaking about the run, Kelly, as well, 2:40 for Tamara.
Crazy.
Unreal. Like so good.
Did you know that she basically ran the same time as the men's winner? Like 3 seconds slower or something like that. It's crazy.
That's insane.
Yeah, it is insane.
I guess, whatever, we were messaging. I guess her run coach told her, don't be conservative. So.
No, I think she put a post out saying something like,
Yeah,
I thought her post said he told her to be conservative, and she was just like, screw it.
Screw it.
I'm going for it. But I think she's someone, like, for me, it's like Danny Kleiser, who keeps coming and doing these, like, insane 70.3 splits. But it's just like, they are so impressive, but it's also like, it is a triathlon. So, like, until
Tamara's
you
a
can
better
get...
swimmer than Danny, though.
Agreed.
Tamara's, like, in the
Yeah.
group, second or third.
Yeah.
Danny's
behind me, so unfortunately she's really I am not a good swimmer. So yeah, work to be done. But I think for both, like, yeah, for Tamara on that course, that's insane running. And she's the kind of person that in Kona, if she can be with a group, I think she's qualified, right? But if
Yeah,
she can
she
be
is.
with a group, which she will be because she is a slightly better swimmer, and stay with a group, knowing that she can unleash that run, and she's also good in the heat, is like yeah, like she's a threat as well.
Yeah, she has already qualified. And like Sid pointed this out to us last week, I guess at Placid, because there were so many women who are already qualified, this like 4 spots rolled down kind of far. Which I say, somebody told me the announcer on the ground there like made a joke about like how anyone who was in the pro field could go today. And I have to say that is bullshit. It's just because a lot of the women have already raced and were good. It's not like, oh, it's super
There was
easy.
4 spots, yeah. I wonder, just going back
Yeah.
to Tamara's run there, do you think was she laying down the gauntlet for Kat and Laura to say, hi girls, you might currently be the 2 fastest women in the sport at the moment, but holy hell, can I put down a 2:40 marathon and I'm going to be coming for you in Kona?
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
You know?
for sure. As someone, Ruth, I was trying to think of the right way to say this, but as someone who's watching this right now, are you like, well, fuck, now I have to run a sub 250?
Yeah, and as someone who can't really currently run, it's even worse. Yeah, I think it's funny because I think there are, you have like not like trends because it's not really a trend, but it's like like Lucy came into the sport and everyone's like, oh fuck, we've really got to like work on our swim, and yeah, I think like that is becoming ever more true, but more because more people are coming in that can actually swim like really really well, especially at the shorter distances. Like I still think an Ironman you can kind of
Get away with
maybe
it.
not for Kona, but I think for most other Ironmans, you can not be the best, and if you're really good at everything else, you can still be really good. Um, but yeah, I think definitely now that Ironman have made, in my view, the terrible choice of always going back to Kona for the world champs,
Yes, I
um,
agree with that
the
statement,
run is so
but
much more important. So
true.
because Kona is just a run game. Not just, but like much more so I think than pretty much any other triathlon. It's if you can run really well and you can run really well in the heat and you can swim and bike to the ability of being in a group, like you're generally going to do pretty well, or at least give yourself every chance of success. Whereas like Nice is much
Sure.
more of the you have to be the complete triathlete. I'm not saying like you have to be the best at every three. Like obviously, like Laura isn't the best swimmer, but like if you take all her strengths across the three, whereas I think she's got a much harder job in Kona because if she has not her best swim, and it's like it seems like her swim's getting a bit better with some of her swims this year, but like if she misses the group with say Kat in it and all the people above her, like I think she might struggle because like she's just going to have to expend so much more energy to get herself either up to that group or just ride by herself, whereas other people in that group like they don't have to work as hard and then they can just unleash their run.
No, I think you're right.
So
And Laura even said that before Nice last year when we talked. She was like she knew that was a race. Like the Kona is not necessarily like the race for her, even though she's done really well there. So,
Mm.
hmm
And
but Ruth,
also, yeah,
Ironman
yeah.
made their decision, right? They didn't ask you or me what they should do.
yeah, I mean, and
So
obviously they made the decision because they're a business trying to make money and people
sure,
pay like twice the money for Kona.
they
So,
do.
but I
What is the
think
cost now on a site? What is the price to do Kona now?
it must be almost 2 grand. It was 1,500, I'm pretty sure, when I paid to do it for my last year in 2019, and it must
Yeah.
have gone up since then.
Okay.
There's
Yeah, I
a
would say it
lot.
was like 1250 when I did it a decade ago.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Moving on to that piece as well about the Pro Series, Jackie Herring has moved back up into the top spot on the Pro Series as well. Now I know Kat still has a race in hand, but it's Jackie, Kat, um, and Anne Reichman. Aren't they the top three?
Oh, that
I
sounds right.
think
I mean, I
so.
know it's Jackie and Kat going back and forth
Yeah,
for sure. I don't remember who's right
yeah,
after that. Yeah.
yeah.
I still
So,
say it's probably Kat's, and ultimately because Kat has like Pro Series locked. Like she knows how to get it done. She's done the math, or Mark has, either way. But like they she has it down. Um, it is interesting to watch though for sure. That
yeah.
Jackie's
Mm,
been doing a lot of racing this year.
mm,
But I think like the interesting thing with the Pro Series is that again, so much of it hinges on Kona. And like, if Kat's going all in to try and win Kona, which I think
She
like
is.
that is more her dream than the Pro Series.
Sure.
Like the again, it's like the possibility for a blow up because she's gone all in trying to either run someone down or she's come off the bike first and she's trying to hold, like there's probably if Jackie raced a very conservative Kona, she potentially has a shot if something happens
Mm,
that kind of blows Cat's race out the water. Because yeah, for me, like I don't really find the Pro Series interesting until the World
the
Champs.
end.
Because
Yeah, for sure.
Mm.
yeah, like and because the points are more because there's so much more for people to lose. Um yeah, and again I think like Anne's someone who I think also ultimately will end up having a really good Kona. I think like she's really good at pacing and she doesn't usually get caught in some of the like group dynamics at the front. So I think she's much more
Mm,
able to just kind of do her own race, pace it really well. So I think and it's again like she probably has more of a potential of having a great race, getting more points, and ending up higher
sure.
again than potentially Jackie, because I feel like Jackie can sometimes be up there in some of the group dynamics. Um, but yeah, like that for me is what makes it more exciting. Like at the World Champs, like I don't
Can
really
I
care
just
because yeah.
I just want to say something. This is like hilarious. This is like you're like my mom does this. You're like I don't really follow this. I don't know, and then just launches into like super detailed. It was like I don't really find the Pro Series that exciting. Here are the 7 people I think could do well.
She has it down
Yeah.
totally, and I've just double checked
Right.
it. It's Jackie, Kat,
Yeah.
and Solveig has moved up into fourth place,
Okay.
and Marta Sanchez is in third. Or sorry, in
Sure.
fifth. Sorry, yeah. So like, there's been a bit of movement since because of Placid.
Hmm.
So it will be interesting.
I do agree though. I have a really hard time caring when they're like like in the 10 or 8 or 9 or whatever races there are before the end. I just all respect to the athletes who have to do the math and like make sure they hit the races and get the money at the end of the year. But like I just have a very hard time
Yeah.
Mm.
massively giving a shit. The other thing though at Placid that I feel like we should talk about is Lisa Pertur's penalty. She had a penalty because the pro men were like mixing in with her, and then she got a penalty for like drafting for not dropping back, which I think we all sort of agree like she was leading the race at the time. Like, how do you get a drafting penalty when you are leading the race? I know how you do, but I'm just saying.
Mm.
I'm mixed on, so I actually had no
Mm,
idea that's why she got her penalty.
mm-hmm.
But that's interesting. But again, this is one of the big issues with Ironman races in particular of they don't do anything to police the men mixing with the women. And potentially, and again, like it's more on the women to be like, okay, don't sit near the men. But quite often what happens, and I don't know if this is the situation, so I don't know the context behind how hers came about, but if what quite often happens is that if there are some men that are like really terrible swimmers, because I've had this happen a couple of times and I've overtaken some men, like you shouldn't be a pro if I'm overtaking you as a in the swim, like seriously, consider your life options. But um I mean, I shouldn't really be a pro with my level of swim, let alone someone I'm overtaking. But you like, and they will then catch you, and you often see it of like some of
Right.
the slower pro men swimmers will like catch some of the women and kind of drag them along, or if they've had like a bit of an issue, so you've then caught them on the bike. But then they're actually riding quite well. Like there are some
Right.
scenarios like that. I think particularly in Ironman where like some of them just go off way too hard and then like blow
Mm-hmm.
up. But they can still be riding faster than you would on your own.
Right.
Not always. And like, I think the cases where they like get in between groups or get mixed in with a group, like to be honest, for me, that should just be a straight disqualification to them. Like, just don't get involved. But I think if it's a case of there are, I don't know, like 2 or 3 pro men in front of you and you as the woman are sat behind them, and like they've got race ranger lights, so like you can see from the lights if you're encroaching on that distance. That to me is should be a penalty. But again, like if it's they are coming round her, cutting in, kind of disrupting her race, then it absolutely shouldn't be, but I didn't actually. So yeah, I didn't watch it, so I don't
I
actually
don't
know what
right. I
the
don't know exactly. I mean, because obviously it's hard to know exactly, like you said, like
yeah.
whether. But it's the other problem is the other issue that you get is with the top age group men when they catch, especially if it's like 2 minutes, like at Placid or something, and then it is very annoying because, like you're saying, they can like you should technically it's on you. You should drop back, but they're like yo-yoing you, and you're kind of and there's a lot of it's very frustrating, right? And you're like, this is
Yeah.
annoying.
And then there's no race ranger on the age groupers. So if you're the pro female in front, you have to again go by observation that you're the 12 meters is the 12 meters behind. But interestingly enough, did you see that the Challenge Roth race ranger data was released today? It was very interesting. I had a quick look at it.
Did you go through it? Oh.
I had a quick look at it. There was a few people who were yo-yoing and a few people who were sitting in the draft zone more than they should be.
I have to say, I have mixed feelings. I actually don't, by mixed feelings, I mean, I like deeply don't care that much about the whole, like, we must make the data public thing. Because I'm sort of like, what is the, everyone's like, this is better. And you're like, why is it better? Because we're going to let, like, slow twitch police, like, what is the outcome here? Like, how is this going to solve any problem? All it's going to do is, like, make people online, like, have a lot more opinions. Like, I don't know. That's my part.
Yeah.
Like, if the refs had that data, like, sure. But, like, the internet having that data, like, what does that do?
But are they not talking?
I agree, and
Sorry, Ruth.
it should be the refs should have the data live, so they see someone's been in that draft zone too long, and they know where it is. Because this is the other issue, like because I still sit on the PTO board. We've had
Okay.
many discussions about trying to release the data, what happens with it, etc. Most courses, and like especially the T100 courses, right, because they're lapped and etc., it's almost impossible to strip out. Like Roth's easier, and I saw like in their stuff they said like where they've stripped it out, like the 8 bits on the course. The problem with trying to release the data without understanding how to strip those bits out is that then like these numbers come out that people don't really understand. They're like, oh, like so and so did all this drafting. It's like they probably didn't. Like they were probably just sat in the group and they yo-yoed a bit because there was corners or whatever. So I think I'm with you of like, yeah, everyone's like, oh, it's so amazing they've released it. Like I don't really think it is. I think they're lucky in that they've got a course where you can strip the data pretty easily to make it valid data that stands up. But yeah, ultimately, like I don't care. Like unless they're using it live in a race,
Right.
I don't care
But I wonder
until they get to a point where they're like, well, hopefully
you'd wonder
that would be
whether that's
good.
a plan that will then it's like an automated thing, so it comes to like even to the announcers to say that so and so has gotten a penalty, so that, you know, that kind of thing. Am I imagining it, or did I read this? Or
No,
something?
no, that is supposed to happen. It got buried in the whole like Roth mini stage press release conference thing with Sam, whatever. But like they also announced that the Race Ranger has an app that they've launched with World Tri that the data then does go right now. It's going to the refs out on course in the app, but then it will be able to go to like the announcers too. And so that app is how they're testing that to be able to get the data live. Like so that weekend they were testing it at Hamburg at the WTCS race, I believe, is what James told me. So it's gonna so that he was like that did kind of get buried, but yeah, there is an app that's supposed to like bring this all live. So
Until Ironman go to 20 meters, it's irrelevant. Like,
yeah, but that's not going to work. There's too many people on course. How would that work?
have less people in the pro race.
Oh, sure. I thought you meant in the age group race, and I was like, really?
No, like obviously, I don't care about age groupers. Like they can draft all they want. Like they're not competing for money. Like, okay,
Sure.
yeah, you're competing for your Kona slot. I get, like, I've been there. It's super important, but like, it's not your livelihood. They don't need Race Ranger. I'm sure they'll try and sell it to them because it's extra money they can make. But ultimately, yeah, until you're like, cut the number of pro men because most of them shouldn't be pros. Like, make it harder and have less of them, or like have a system where you can only have 50 men on the start line, never have more than that. Have you know, like the make it better
Make
because
it
at the
better.
moment, like
Nice.
12 meters, like you're getting such an impact, and especially for these massive pro male fields, like yeah, you just sit in that pack and you have a lovely race.
They have gotten quite big. I think. I mean, I'm sort of ambivalent about making it harder, but I do think, yeah, with Ironman's Pro Series and a couple of federations made it a little easier to get a license in the last few years. That's separate. You do have these like just huge numbers that are just like starting to be kind of crazy. Mm-hmm. All right, before we talk to Ruth about what she's been doing with her drinking and her injury, one more thing I feel like we're talking about this week. One more contender, since we're talking about Kona, who we have to talk. Anne Hogg's retirement announcement.
I know, it's very sad, isn't it?
I wanted to see her one more time. You know, I thought she was gonna do Kona and then be done.
I don't think it's sad. Just from I think she's really in a place of she's found more to life than triathlon in like a really positive. I had this conversation with her. I think it must have been like a couple of years ago. I was in like Gran Canaria and we were on the coach going to the airport. I think I was something like, oh, you know, have you got any like holidays planned? And she's like, oh, I've never been on holiday. I was like, sorry, what? Like, you know, like triathlon has genuinely been like her passion, her obsession. You know, it's why she's so good.
Right.
But it actually makes me really happy for her that I'm like, you now get to go and enjoy like life. And yeah, as much as I would have loved to have seen her at Kona again, because I still, you know, you saw what she did in Roth last year.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
This is not like she was still definitely. I don't think this is a like, oh, you got too old. Like she was obviously still very capable.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it sounded like, you know, she's just had a pretty terrible year of injury. And yeah, I think, you know, I can completely relate to you get to that point where you're just like, I can't do it anymore. Like mentally, like if you can't just do the training, especially if you're used to doing it and it, you know, and obviously she's had setbacks and injuries before, but if you've done it for that long, like I've done it for not even like half the time that she's done it, and like I'm already at a point of just like I don't like how do you keep going? Whereas like for her, it must just be, yeah, you know what? I've had all these amazing races, and again, like her track record is incredible of like the amount of podiums she's had, and well, more like the number of races she's not been on the podium, I think is like more impressive. See, I was actually like, yeah, like sad for her. She's not going to be in Kona, but actually super happy for her of you've made that decision before getting to a point of, I don't know, like more DNFs or more months of just dealing with shit. And she's made that choice, and yeah, hopefully she'll be going on holiday.
Hopefully. It was interesting because it sounded, the interview she did with like the German, I don't know, TV station, and like maybe there's something lost in translation, but it basically sounded like she got, it wasn't like an injury that she dropped out of Victoria. Like she's been dealing with injuries and other issues and all that, that she basically like was just like the way we all sometimes are like, that's it, I quit and like step off. She just like was like, I'm done, and quit in the middle, and then was like, I'm done with the sport. And I think we've all been at that point where you're like, I quit, I'm done, I'm never doing this again. Except that like she actually was like, no. Like, and she said she had made this rule that she was like, if I get to the point where I just like mentally don't have it anymore and I DNF, and I've never DNF, like I'm done, I'm done with the sport. And part of me is like, that is so, like I cannot imagine if I quit the sport every time I DNF something. Like I would have quit like a very long time ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, again, like I think, like I said initially, like the fact that she hasn't been in a situation where she's had to DNF that like before, other than maybe this year, is also super impressive, and I think also speaks massively to kind of like her knowledge of her body, of putting herself on a start line, of being like, I'm only going to go on the start line if I know that I can finish and basically be on the podium. But yeah, yeah, it is nuts. I mean, I would have had to have quit years ago. So
That's what I
if
thought.
I was basing it off that.
But do you think does the pressure to perform then inform as well, like it's time to go? Like if she she pulled up in Vittoria, she now wasn't qualified for Kona, she'd have to go to Kalmar, I think would be the final spot. That's still very close to Kona. And then she's not at full tilt, regardless of what's going on. Like that pressure to perform, is she you know, that's obviously informing her decision as well, not just the injury, but like basically if I don't go to Kona this year, it's next year. And so then maybe I'm another year older, everybody's getting faster. Will I be able to come back? Will I be able to perform at the best of my ability? And if that might be 10th position in Kona versus a first position because of the depth of the field that we now have versus the last time she raced in Kona, which was in 2023.
Yeah, I'm sure it all factored.
You know, like,
Yeah.
so,
And I think like probably because she is so good and she's had so many amazing results, kind of why would you dilute that?
yeah.
Like finish at the top. I mean, I'm sure she doesn't see it as she's finished at the top, but like I see it as, yeah, like basically your last amazing result is setting that world record. So like you're still at the top. So yeah, I think it's better than kind of like not dragging it out because she's not the kind of person that would drag it out, but yeah, why if she's not feeling like she's probably basing it more on herself of like I can see my numbers, etc. If they're not up to where I want them to be, then yeah, like what's the point in racing?
And then the other side of it as well is you see like Daniela Reef has retired and she's living her best life now as well. And you see there's like other pros that have retired, like even Alistair has, retiring as well and just enjoying the things he never got to do because he was so focused on success, and who knows, she won't. And I keep mentioning Heather Jackson's name, but who knows, maybe Anne will follow in the direction of going down a single sport. Maybe she'll be a super uber biker because her running she's not able to run.
Maybe she's just going to take a bunch of vacations now.
100%.
Apparently.
And she'd be like Lauren Brandon and not swim for like 6 months. But you know what I mean? Like, so I suppose it's the end of an era, but maybe it's the start of a new one for her. And she's still relatively young to be retiring from professional sport.
Have you, because she's the same age as me. Are you saying that since it's your birthday too, and you're like, she's relatively young?
But I'm old now. I'm closer to 50 than she is. Look at the wrinkles.
Yeah. All right, we do want to talk about Ruth, what Ruth's been up to. We're going to take a quick ad break and then come back. Here at Feisty, we're excited to be teaming up with Xterra to help get more women onto the trails and into off-road triathlon. Xterra offers a full schedule of off-road triathlons all around the world, from super sprint to Olympic distance, youth races. Their events feature open water swimming, mountain biking, trail running, with a focus on the welcoming community and beautiful destinations. And I want to be clear, anyone can do an Xterra. You can do an Xterra. Even if you've never mountain biked before, other athletes are ready to get you to that finish line and are even known to offer a helping hand during races. In fact, we'll be doing a series of Feisty podcasts and videos with some tips and ways to get started. Stay tuned. You'll also recognize some of the most iconic names in triathlon who got their start in Xterra. Flora Duffy, Mel McQuaid, Leslie Patterson, and next year the World Championship race will return to the US with a new home in New Mexico. And most importantly, Xterra offers equal prize money, recognition, and spots to that World Championship. So if you're looking for a new adventure, hit the dirt and find a race to try at xterraplanet.com. That's XTERRA planet.com.
Orca has been a longtime partner of Feisty Triathlon, and we've been excited to see them over the years constantly innovating to create the best wetsuits on the market. In 2022, they came out with 6 iconic wetsuits designed to enhance every swimmer's form. And now, in 2025, they've launched a second generation of those suits, with advances in flexibility and freedom of movement to improve your feel for the water and reduce fatigue. Now, the Orca wetsuits are divided into 2 categories, and in each category there are 3 suits with different characteristics and buoyancy levels. So whether you're looking for maximum buoyancy or maximum shoulder mobility or a mix of the two, Orca has a suit for you. Get ready for race season with an Orca wetsuit and use the code FEISTY15 for 15% off at orca.com. That's FEISTY15 for 15% off at orca.com.
Hey Feisties, Sarah Gross here. We are so excited to be back with you here on our new, shiny, feisty triathlon podcast. Thank you for listening. I am so glad you're here. I want to tell you about one of the Feisty team's favorite recovery products, Previnex's Neurify Plus. I use the chocolate flavor myself every day to support my strength training. At Feisty, we only support brands that our team uses and products that deliver results we have seen for ourselves. Previnex's Neurify Plus is one of the best tasting plant-based and vegan shakes I've tried, and trust me, I've tried a lot. It contains balanced protein, carbs, and fat with comprehensive, high-quality micronutrients to help fuel your health. It also contains probiotics and digestive enzymes, so it's super easy to digest and doesn't give you that bloaty, gassy kind of effect that other protein products can produce. Unlike most supplement brands, Previnex tests everything with pharmaceutical-grade precision, and they also offer a 100% money-back guarantee. So try Neurify Plus or any Previnex product today, and you get 15% off your first order with the code FEISTYTRY at Previnex.com. That's FEISTYTRY for 15% off at Previnex.com. The link will be, as always, in the show notes.
All right, Ruth. In 60 seconds, can you explain your injury that you have been dealing with?
If I could explain it, I'd be in a much better place. Basically, I have a large hip effusion that they've got no idea why it's there. We tried a steroid injection, it hasn't worked. So basically, I have a dodgy hip that they don't know why it's dodgy, and they've got no idea on how to fix it, other than maybe taking. My options at the moment are take 3 months off or have an arthroscopy to basically try and dig around and have a look at what's going on. Neither of which I'm very keen on. So at the moment, I'm burying my head in the sand and pretending it doesn't exist.
Oh no! And this has been going because you've been having like on and off because like for a little while here, right? Where you like think it's better and then you try and come back and then it's not. Yeah, that's really frustrating.
Yeah, I think I say, and this is why, like, when I talk to people and they're like, "Oh, like, just have a bit of patience," I was like, "I've had a lot of patience and it hasn't paid off yet." Yeah, like pretty much since St. George, I would say. So like 3 years. It honestly just feels like it's been one thing after another, and it was like, yeah, like almost 3 years of just the calf, of being like, I keep getting these calf issues. We don't really know why. We got to the point at the end of last year of kind of figuring that out. I had this steroid injection in my back. Like we figured it was mainly neural, and there was a bit of kind of biomechanics as well. So sort of worked on how I was running, did loads of stuff around that, and was like finally at a point of like, yes, like we've sorted the calves out. 2025, it's going to be my year. I'm going to have a year of racing. And I think like a few things have derailed it. So like South Africa. That actually wasn't injury. I actually just got super unlucky and I picked up some kind of virus, I think. Like I was really fit. I'd had a really good few months of training, and just literally like halfway through the swim, started getting actually really cold, got onto the bike and I was just like, my body's not working. Like honestly, I was going like slower than an aerobic ride, but I was like, you know what, just get to the end because I've had races like that. I think like Tulsa when I did it, it wasn't quite to the same extent, but I had a pretty rubbish bike and then had a really good run. So I was like, get to the end. It's an Ironman. There were loads of slots on the line, so I was like, if you can just put a half decent run together, like you can at least get your Kona slot and kind of, get over it. I literally got off the bike and I was like, I can't even really walk. Like, I was like, running a marathon is definitely not going to be a good idea. And with all the history of calf injuries, I was like, if I'm not 100%, like obviously trying to run a marathon when you're not in a great place is a really stupid thing to do. I kind of look back in hindsight and like I should have just bloody finished it. But I don't know if I would have on it. I felt so ropey. So I was then like wiped out by whatever that virus was for a couple of weeks. Was then getting back into training, and again I was like, right, I've got my plan. I'm gonna go and do these couple of gravel races, because they had been on the plan, and then I was like, then I've got Les Sables and then Placid that I can do as my Ironmans.
Okay.
and then basically got this hip niggle. And originally it wasn't terrible. I was like, okay, I can kind of manage it. It then got a bit worse after Unbound. So I had an MRI, and that's where they were basically like, yeah, you've got this effusion. Let's try this steroid injection. Steroid injection's done absolutely nothing. So yeah, I'm now basically like back in this limbo.
Sorry, what is an
Yeah.
infusion?
It's basically just like inflammation.
Oh, okay.
I don't really know what the difference is. They've basically described it as that. So I was like, there'll be some medical people out there that kind of know exactly what that means. But
So what
yeah.
can you do, Ruth? Can you still cycle? Can you swim?
So what I have been doing is, so up until I'd say last week, I was actually doing a little bit of everything, and it wasn't getting any better, but it wasn't getting any worse. So I was like, okay, we can like keep it at this point. And then over the weekend, it started getting worse. So I was like, okay, so this week I'm trying no running to see if it, cause I don't know if it's the running or the cycling that's aggravating it. It could just be both, but I was like, I'll try no running, and see what happens. But yeah, this year might just have to be a gravel year. Like I've still got some fun gravel things that I'm looking at for the end of the year. So if it ends up being that, it ends up being that. I'll be left with no sponsors by next year, but that's fine. I'll just have to go and get a job. But yeah, I think the difficult thing with it is mainly I'm at this point of like, I just mentally don't think I can do that much more of having these unknown, like limbo. Like if they were like, oh, it's a stress fracture, you need 3 months out, then you can work back. Like honestly, I'd find that so much easier to deal with because you're like, I know what it is, I know what the plan is, I know when I can be back. Whereas this, it's like, I don't know, we don't know what it is, so we don't know if it's going to get better. Like again, offloading it might not actually, that's the kind of the default answer of we don't know, so resting will surely help. But it's like, well, actually, if
That
it's
doesn't always
tendon
work.
related,
Yeah.
it might not.
And then even for your mental health as well, because I know this is obviously a physical problem, but then for your mental health, like, because my physio always says motion is lotion. So even if you're injured, being able to get out for a walk or being able to get out and do something, even the smallest bit of movement can make a difference. But like, if they turned around tomorrow and said, Ruth, you need to go to bed for 2 months, you'd lose your mind.
Yeah, I'd just be like, absolutely not.
Yeah.
No, I'm done. Get me another job. Like, unless they were like, if you don't go to bed for 2 months, you'll never walk again. There's balances. But
so how do you stay motivated then, Ruth?
I don't. It's the honest. I think I think I put it in my post last week of I wake up some days and I'm like, right, I'm on it. You've still got time, etc. There's worse things in life, but then there's other days. Yeah, like this morning I woke up and I was like, I'm just not going to go swimming. I was like, I just can't face it. Like, and what also doesn't help is that also my swim's been really, really terrible the last few weeks. So I go to swimming, I feel really miserable, and I'm just like literally, what's the point? Like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to race an Ironman this year. So this morning I opted to go and there's like the non-working man's Wednesday ride. So joined all these like old guys from, actually they're not all old, but like a lot of them are these like super fit retired guys that honestly they like absolutely put me away on the hills, and just had a really fun ride. And I was like, this is way better. So yeah, I feel like the motivation is very up and down. I think just because again, like just not knowing, like if someone said you do this for the next 2 months and then you can race in at this time frame, but because I just don't have that, like it's very up and down.
Sure.
Very hard.
How was the gravel? Because you were doing a bunch of gravel. Is this like the future? Should we all get into gravel?
Well, there's no money in it, so not if you want to make a living.
That's really something. If a triathlete is saying there's no money in another sport.
Yeah, honestly, it makes triathlon look amazing. Obviously, like the very few girls at the absolute top and making money. But most of the races have no prize money. So tracker, there's no prize money. You only get bonuses if your sponsors have given you bonuses. But yeah, tracker was amazing. Like, I think like the gravel around there, the scenery, all of it was just like I would highly recommend that to anyone. Unbound didn't really like the course as much from a it doesn't break up for ages because it's like just long straight roads, so it was like just absolute carnage that first bit. There was like so many crashes in the first like 40k that just shouldn't have happened. um but the town and the people there, I was like, honestly, it's like if the people in Kona liked having Kona, that's what it would feel like. Like the town love it, like could not do enough to like make people feel welcome and be like, we love this event. So like I'm so glad I went from just experiencing that was like incredible. Yeah, the gravel's been fun.
Oh, good. Yeah, I've been having like obviously everyone's talking it up. I'm having a hard time getting excited about it, but I suppose I could.
I think like so it depends where you live of a for me, the best thing about gravel is you can go on rides and you don't have to worry about cars being dickheads. So, like, and I think that's why so many people are getting into it because you get to go and ride your bike without just getting abused. So,
I also think there's the sense of adventure with it more so than being on your road bike. And if you're a professional triathlete and you're on your road bike, then you need to be probably doing certain watts in certain sessions. Whereas if you're going out on your gravel bike, you're going out for fun. Even if you're an age grouper, you're going out for the benefit of the cardiovascular aspect, but then also the freedom of just going up a bog road or a bad road and not worrying about the road surface because you have thicker tires. Going out in the middle of the rain in the UK and Ireland, it doesn't really bother you on a gravel bike. I find anyway, personally, and definitely for the winter. Plus the bikes are heavier than a road bike. So from an age grouper perspective, I think gravel is it's going to explode.
Oh, yeah.
I really do think it will explode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been exploding. So
Yeah.
you got to get yourself over to Tracka, Joanne.
yeah,
I don't know about that now. That's a big ask.
Yeah.
it's got all the different distances. You don't have to do the 360 or the 5, whatever it is.
Yeah, Emma
You can do
Porter
the
actually.
100.
Yeah, Emma Porter did it here, and actually there was issues in Ireland with our local forestry here with Quilcha, where there was no access for gravel bikers to the lands, but the mountain bikers could use it. But now they seem to have come to some sort of an agreement. So now a lot of the gravel races are coming back. So maybe you'll have to come over here to do some of the gravel races over here instead. And they're pretty cool. Some of the gravel races.
Wait,
they're very good.
You could mountain bike it, but you couldn't gravel.
Yeah,
bike
I don't know why it was.
Why didn't they? Why did people just say, "Oh, this is a mountain bike"? It's just really old.
I don't know. I don't know the ins and outs of it, but thankfully, it seems like whatever sort of a ban or a prohibition was on it has been lifted, and there's a number of events now coming back. So it's really good. But yeah, they're good fun. I've done a couple of gravel events, short ones, 50, 60k. It's enough. It's enough.
What else are you doing with, I was going to say your free time right now, Ruth? You're running this like travel business, right? Yeah, free in quotations. You're running this travel business, right? And you're still on the PTO board. Well,
Yeah. So still on the PTO board. Yeah, the travel business that, like, to be honest, I'm mainly using it for my travel because it gets me like really good discounts. Agent discounts. Other triathletes out there, if you're doing a lot of travel, send me a message because you could save yourself some money. And then I've managed to like book like a couple of holidays for some of my friends. Like I booked one of my good friends' honeymoon and like saved them a load of money. So it's nice to be able to do that. I'm still doing a bit of coaching, so that's really good. I've got, I think, 3 athletes racing this weekend. A couple in 70.3 boys. Is that how you say it? I don't know how you say it.
Boise.
Boise.
You say the E for some reason, yeah.
Boise. And one in Leeds. She's actually a Leeds lady, so I really don't know why she signed up for it. And I think when the course came out, she was like, oh, God.
You'll need to give me more details so I can call her across the finish line.
Oh yeah, I absolutely will. She's really good. Yeah, you're gonna get to come and experience the fun of Leeds this weekend.
Yeah, I'm leaving tomorrow. Well, I'll be in Leeds by the time this podcast comes out. So we'll probably have met in person
Yeah.
and have had either coffee or wine or both by the time the podcast
Yeah.
goes live on Friday.
Yeah, exactly. And then what else? And then to be honest, at the moment I've been trying to think about the like actually what's next. Even
Mm.
because like yeah, I don't want this to be the the end. That sounds very dramatic. But I'm like I might as well use the time to think about as and when I get to that point of making that decision, what are the other kind of things that I actually want to do? Because I'd say at the moment I have a good idea of like what I definitely don't want to do, which is that I definitely don't want to go back into like a full-time corporate job. Like I don't think I could manage with that. Um, but like there's so much choice out there. I think like it makes it really hard. There's like so many different things you can do. So yeah, I'm trying to narrow that down a little bit, and maybe like start some conversations with people of I don't know, can I like get a bit of experience here or
Mm.
like pick your brains a bit on what it actually involves? Because I think again, like there's a lot of kind of social media stuff now where I think it makes some like professions or stuff that people do look a lot more glamorous than
Oh.
life of an athlete being the prime example. I think a lot of people just think what a great life. I have so many people that kind of ask me and they're like, oh, so yeah, like the federation must pay for this or that. I'm like, nope, like you're literally like self-supporting yourself trying to find people to try and give you money.
Right.
um so I think people are very good at showing the really good, exciting parts of whatever they do. So it's trying to dig into the what is it actually like on a day to day.
What other jobs look really exciting on social media that you've now like started to dive into?
Oh, I think like I always think like entrepreneurs make it look really exciting. Even the ones that show like some of the horrendous hard work, whatever, like even the ones that show like the bad side, I still look at them and I'm like, just looks so good.
Don't believe
But I
everything
don't
you
have
see
a
on social media, though,
I
Ruth. I
know.
mean,
Yeah,
come
I
on.
know, I know.
It's
I
all
also don't have
glamorized.
a good idea,
Yeah.
so
I think we start seeing Ruth now. What is it? GRWM, get ready with me, daily posts. Here I am,
Oh yeah.
GRWM, get ready with me, social posts.
I really want to do like a totally fake get ready with me joke that is well actually what I do, but it would be like getting out of bed and putting on a sweatshirt and then walking out the door.
yeah.
I'd
I
be
was gonna
like,
say
get
that would
ready with
literally be me.
me.
It's like, ready?
Ready. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
So.
But I think that's a good plan, though, Ruth, because writing down all the things that you definitely don't want to do will focus your mind on the things that you potentially do want to do. And that's good advice for people of all ages and like at any stage of life, really, because we all come to these crossroads where it's like, holy hell, am I going to be doing this for the next 5 years? And I'm kind of sick of it, so what do I want to do instead? Other than just go on holidays and enjoy life to the max, which wouldn't be bad either. But
That would be nice, wouldn't it? But
yeah. Yeah, well, you do have a travel business, so you can technically book yourself to wherever in the heck you want to go.
but I do still need some money to pay for it, which
Sure.
currently I have zero.
Yeah, you could become an influencer.
I will say
now.
though, I like having talked to many pro athletes over the years. Right, a lot of them, Ruth, though, don't come from like you came from a banking background. A lot of them don't understand the business side of it at all. And like the things you're saying, even in passing, about like, well, I need to make money this, or like, there's no money in that. Like a lot of them, you talk to them and they're like, what? Like money? What are you talking about? Like, how does this, like the fact that you were like, oh, entrepreneur looks exciting. Like most of them are like, entrepreneurs? It's a business? I don't know. So I think you're probably better off in that sense that you have more, you're already like thinking about these aspects of it,
Yeah. Although again, I think my difficulty is having come from a pretty good corporate background, it's trying to find something that earns me the same kind of money, but without
2 days a
having
week.
to be in an office all day.
Right, there is that.
Or like getting to a point where I'm just like, okay, you're not going to be rich. Live with it.
Yeah, probably not going to be rich at this point.
Yeah.
win the
Yeah.
lotto, not to win the Euro Millions or the lotto.
Keep trying. I keep trying. It's not gone very well for me so far.
All right, what? Here's my question. Out of all the different things you said, you're still on the PTO Athlete Board. What does that entail at this point? Are you guys still like you were on the Athlete Advisory Board or the Athlete Commission? Or I don't remember.
We have one board, which is it's called the Athlete Board, but I would say it is like an advisory board. So we have monthly meetings, and yeah, we just try and feed in like this is kind of what we're hearing from athletes, or this is some of the stuff we think we can do better. Um, yeah, I think like the last couple of years been quite hard because I think they've had such a big job on their hands of like getting all these races up and running that the opportunity to kind of feed in has been pretty limited. But yeah, I think kind of as they establish themselves more, I think there's kind of more opportunity to try and say, yeah, like this is some of the stuff we could actually make a difference on. Yeah, I think there's still like a lot of work to be done, and I think there was like a really interesting Deloitte report that they did for World
I saw that.
Triathlon,
Yeah.
which is a lot of the stuff we've been saying as an athlete board of like everything's quite fragmented, like no one really understands. There's all these like different distances and whatever. Like there needs to be some kind of uniformity. But then it's also trying to navigate that against the different competitors because like they are all competitors now, with PTO being more of a kind of mass participation sport now. So yeah, then it's interesting seeing, I don't know, like challenge, for example, obviously having Ironman and PTO people at Roth, which I think was interesting. And I think like I would love to know what the Ironman guys thought of like how do we possibly try and replicate that in Kona? Because I don't think anything comes close to Roth.
Not in
It's
terms of
like
crowds, yeah. You know what
unbelievable.
I thought out of that, and just because you mentioned the Deloitte report, and I was reading it too. I really would love because I'm sure if they did it, because new Ironman CEO, I'm sure they did one of those classic business like SWOT analysis, like strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and I would love to see that. I want to know what they think are their like strengths and weaknesses and opportunities and all that. Um, I'm curious. But yeah, that Deloitte report is super interesting because it's had a bunch of stuff about how like in Europe you basically can only put on races with like subsidies from the government or like that's the only way it works. And then in the US, because we don't really have that, like they don't put on as many elite races because they lose money. So it's like I don't know how do you navigate that in the future.
Yeah, but that like the thing that I thought that the report completely missed from like an age group perspective is like they didn't even mention cost
Mm.
as like one of the reasons why it's going downhill so much. I thought that's got to be a big reason, like especially post COVID, cost of living crisis, etc. The cost going up so much. Like an Ironman is more like $800 now,
Yeah,
like
Mm.
something like that.
maybe like more. Like it's outrageous.
Even
So
local races are gone really expensive.
yeah,
Like even away from that big, maybe one off or maybe 2 or 3 Ironman races or the opportunity to go to World Championship, even a local sprint race or an Olympic race, like it's €100 to do an Olympic race. It used to be €30 or €40. You thought that was dear like 5 years ago, but it's the cost of
5 years ago,
everything.
30 years ago.
Right.
No, absolutely not. We're not in the sport that long. Like, but the cost of every single thing has gone up. All the like everything that's
Yeah,
required for a race, from your portaloo to your
Yeah.
barriers to your swim safety, like
yeah.
every single fixed cost and every single what's the other cost? A non-fixed cost. Ruth, remind me.
Right.
Can't remember. Like a cost that's relative to the number of people that are taking part, like your medals and your t-shirts. Everything
Mm,
is gone up without a doubt.
yeah.
What are okay? We're going to wrap up soon. But now I'm curious because if the athlete board like brings up what they've been hearing athletes talk about, what are the things athletes are talking about? Like, what are the issues that you
Um,
guys come up a lot?
rules. The fact they're all different, big one. Like, just it's annoying. You have to. Like, just why can't they just all be the same? Like, why do the German Federation get to do different rules? Like,
Because
that's
they're
stupid.
crazy. Yeah.
It makes no sense, and it's so annoying. Like, why can I go to this race and I don't have to wear a number on my bike? And then this race, they're like, oh, you got to wear a number on the bike. Like, no, I've just spent £1,000 in the wind tunnel. Like, I'm not putting a number on the bike. Um, yeah, rules. So, like, rules is a
Okay.
stupid one. Drafting, like drafting rules. Think a lot of other stuff like kind of varies athlete to athlete, I think. And then varies if you're talking to like the elites or you're talking to age groupers. I think again, like the age groupers are quite split on kind of if they want to be able to race sort of like with the pros of like, like on the same day, on the same course, or whether actually they want to be able to watch it. Like people seem to be like just completely split on that. Um, and yeah, and I think there's loads of like other different things, but I think most of it comes down to oh yeah, like broadcast. Broadcast is always the other big one. I think that's just um yeah, I think until someone spends like a lot of money on it, I don't really know how you make that much better. Um Although again, Roth showed that you can have a quadruple screen. You don't just have to show one person. So it's like it's doable, but I just think for whatever reason we're not good at trying to show the race, talk about the race. Um, yeah, I mean, like I've been thinking about it quite a lot because I've been watching a lot of Tour de France, and it's like millions of people are happily watching 5 hours of cycling. They're not really saying anything that exciting, but for whatever reason, people are people seem to find it exciting. So,
I was reading something about what they do well, and it's telling the stories, like not getting you know what I mean? Like not like yes, it's all about technology and cycling, but like they really get focused on like the people. The beautiful shots like of like the scenery are what a lot of people watch for. And I was like, oh yeah, those two things, that is true. We should do.
But then look at all the people that travel to the Tour de France to actually be there, to be on the side of the
yeah,
mountains. Like it just
amazing.
captures the imagination of even people who aren't cyclists. It's just, wow, the Tour de France. Can we go? Yes, 100%. Let's go. They might never have cycled a bike in their lives, but it's the I don't know, it's the magic of the Tour de France maybe or something. I don't know. I don't know what it is that they have, but it is so exciting. For people at
Did
home
you
watching
know
it. Yes.
there is an entire team that goes ahead of the race and has to paint over all the penises that people have drawn on the road?
No way. How do you know this information, O'Mara?
Because we were talking about this because the Tour de France Femmes starts this weekend, and there are less penises. That's not really an issue. So,
Uh,
but yeah, it's a whole
Madness.
team, whole team.
Wow.
So,
That's a
all right. I feel like we should end on a different question, though. Yeah. All right, Joanne. Do you have anything you want to ask Ruth to finish us off here that has nothing to do with
I don't know, Ruth, where are you going on your holidays? Give us some fun and adventure. Where are you going? What's the destination?
Well, I've got one great holiday this year that I can't talk about yet because it's linked to something that Alistair's doing. So unless he's told you about it, which I don't think he has, yeah, it's not public yet, so I can't talk about that. No, we are going to do Gravel Burn, which is a gravel race in South Africa at the end of October. It's like a 7 day stage race. Um, Finishing in a basically like a safari lodge. So that'll be my first holiday.
Wow, that's
Very
fun. That's
cool.
exciting.
Yeah.
It will be good. And then, but I'd say my favorite holiday is skiing. Always, skiing's just the best.
Okay.
All right.
Interesting. Okay. Kelly, have you one final question for Ruth?
No, that was a good question. I was like, are you going to be in Kona if you're not racing? You're going to come in after party?
If someone would like to pay for me to come out to Kona, I will happily come. But considering so far this year I've made £0 or dollars and I've spent a lot, I can't afford it.
It's fair. That's fair. Yeah. Well, thank you so much for chatting with us. I feel like this covered all the topics. And yeah, good luck on figuring out the mysterious hip, whatever the word you said was, infusion. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. It's been good to chat.
Yeah. Thanks for having me.
See you in a few hours.
Yep. See you in a few hours. Welcome to. Actually, tomorrow looks really nice. Today has been pissing down with rain again, but tomorrow the sun comes out. So.